Good morning. I'm going to read a passage here real quick. John the Baptist prepares the way. In those days, John the Baptist came preaching in the wilderness of Judea, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for this is he who was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, when he said, The voice of the one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his path straight." Uh, I'm not sure if I should read my take and my story or my story first, but um, sometimes I feel like it could read it in my life this way. John, the kayaker of the Kishwaukee, in those days, John came preaching the best he could in the river. Um, let's see, how could I go on and not be blasphemous? the 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 voice crying in the Kishwaukee, prepare the way for the Lord, make his path straight. But yeah, we often feel like we're. I guess you could. I do it on YouTube more to instead of the Kishwaukee, but I guess we often feel like that is the case. I think. Yeah, the world just doesn't want to hear. But anyhow, to my story. One day, oh, this has probably been. I bet this has been 20 years ago already. Um, I was paddling upriver. It would be between Espenscheid and Bauman. There's a corner that's upriver from the train trestle bridge that's real swift and shallow there. And it was probably about that deep, maybe that deep, but it was real clear and I was able to paddle. I wasn't walking. But the water was real clear and I looked down and I see a watch. And so I picked it up. It was a nice watch. It was still running. And so I stuck it in my spray skirt and I continue on upriver. And I get upriver another half mile or so, and there's a group of people coming down. This is back in the day when people would invite me to stop and talk with them, and I think they were on the island, and I stopped and talked with them, and then I think I actually was tired, and I ended up floating back with them. And somehow, I can't remember, it's been so long ago, I can't remember how we got on. I probably just told them that I saw a watch. Well, the watch had very distinctive characteristics of it. And I didn't show them the watch, I didn't tell them what kind of watch, and I didn't tell them where. But all of a sudden, the guy just starts describing his watch. And it's this watch to the T. And he'd lost it 2 weeks prior. And I'm getting goosebumps on my back of my neck. You know, the hairs are I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what are the odds of me finding his watch and me going upriver and running into the guy that lost the watch? And I could tell he was kind of taken back, because they were let's just say they were having a good time before I ran into them partying, and I could tell his total kind of demeanor changed, and I don't even remember what I told them or talked about, but we got on the conversation of God, and and then we parted ways, and I gave him his watch, and it was still running. He was happy to find his watch, but the rest of that summer, every time he would see me, he would yell out, "John the Baptist." And I don't know why. I mean, I didn't do anything. I wasn't eating locusts and honey and living in the desert. But I don't know. I guess he perceived me as being preparing the way or something for that day. I don't know. But anyhow, he called me John the Baptist from that day forward on the river every time he'd see me. But yeah, that was 20 years ago. Man, how time goes by. And I see Hulk Hogan died yesterday, and it seems like I was just watching him get baptized. That was a year ago. He was baptized and rededicating himself to the Lord. And he was 5 years older than me. He was the same age as my sister. But I was thinking, it's already almost August. That's the year is almost almost what do we got? It's the 8th month. So yeah, seems like it was just January. And then when you get, I tell people, when you get my age, you're in the bottom of the hourglass, spinning real fast like this, getting ready to shoot out to judgment. And when you're in grade school and you're sitting in class staring out the window wishing you were out, you're up here going. That's why it seems like time is going slower. But when you get older, it's like this. But oh well. For what it's worth, I thought that would be my story of sharing in the wilderness here of YouTube. So, alrighty. Hope to see you out on the river and be safe. God bless.